Good evening, everyone. I think we'll begin with our webinar. So my name is Shavika. Today's webinar is brought to you by Varthana. Varthana is doing the series of webinar for school leader and teachers development. Last time we have done a webinar on navigating change, how school can like deal with evolving change. And today we'll be covering NEP, the role of teacher training in student learning and outcome. Also, for this webinar, we'll be issuing participation certificate. Just ensure that you're still and attending this webinar till end and fill the feedback form. Then only we'll be able to issue you the participant certificate. So without delaying further, let's move and see what we have. And what we'll be covering today. So today's agenda will be focusing on introduction and session objective, some key teacher development components and stages proposed by NPST, strategies to identify training needs, some training strategies along with teacher training impact evaluation, and followed by Vartana teacher certification program. And towards the end, you can fill the feedback form and we can close the session. So let's quickly do a quick round of introduction. So considering the large amount of participants which we have today with us, I'm going to launch a poll here to understand your profile. I'll request everyone to please respond to the poll. So the poll is launched. I'm going to wait here for 30 seconds and please opt for your options. Okay, so I'm going to publish the voting result here. So we have mostly teachers and teachers with us today. Hopefully this webinar will add value for you. So let's move on and understand why teaching is important and other stuff. So let's see what we have. Teacher training is important. So let's see what we have in today's objective. So we'll be focusing on understanding NEP reforms related to teacher training and some key components and stages of teacher development, along with some key strategies to explore and identify teachers' need, implement some trainings, and also evaluate those trainings and its effectiveness. And that will eventually lead to student learning outcome and retention. Let's start with a reflective activity. Here I'm gonna show a video and then we'll discuss what we have seen. So I'll just quickly, okay, I think there's some issue with the video audio. So we'll just move on. I'll just give you a brief about what is there in the video. So in the video, there's this teacher who's trying her best to teach the student, but there's one student in the classroom who is diverted and not interested at all in studying. And the teacher starts researching and finding out ways how she can include him and make him study, but all her attempts are going in vain. But finally, after doing a lot of research and focusing and trying to understand what she can do, she started giving him audio lesson because she observed that he's someone who spend more time in listening to phone notes and other stuff. And that's how she decided to give him an audio lesson instead of just teaching him directly. And that's how he ended up getting interest in study, and he started listening to the video. Later on, he himself started reading that book, reached out to his teacher and asked for the assessment and assignment how he can do it. I would this is just the context of the video. So I would like you to reflect and share that. What do you think? What happened? What was the attempt and effort from teachers and which made the student learn it? And how that's possible? You can put it in Q&A section. That after hearing the context, what do you think happened here in the video? Okay, so I'll just move on. So the purpose, the context shows that with the continuous effort from your end, better teacher outcome and retention is achievable. It's just that as a teacher, you have to put that effort, keep yourself updated, train, understand the needs and deliver accordingly. And for that, you yourself need training to achieve that. So it's important for teachers to be trained effectively. So they'll be able to identify the issues which is happening in the classroom and deal it accordingly and cater to the issue as per the need. So let's move on and see like what we have. So as we have seen, that teacher training is important and it's also recommended by NEP 2020. So I'm going to launch a poll here to understand that are you familiar with some of the teacher training and development components which is there in NEP. NEP has talked about. So again, I'm going to launch a poll here. Please fill your responses. I'll wait here for 30 seconds. Yeah, so many of you have said that you are familiar with the components of teacher development, which is proposed by NEP 2020. So again, I'll request you to please put it in Q&A section, or you can also raise your hand. Those who have raised your hand already, I'll request you to please put it down and then raise again if you want to share something. Okay. So let's see that what are some of the components NEP has talked about and what NEP says. So the focus of NEP is to build a foundation based on and provide accessibility, quality education of affordable, and also a lot of accountability from teachers. And so it's important to ensure that teachers are well equipped to deliver high quality education. And some of the components which emphasize, like NEP has emphasized on, is curriculum and pedagogy. So they have recommended particular curriculum and pedagogy. There's a lot of focus on ECC and FLN. There's restructuring of course. It's now 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So there's a lot of emphasis on how we're going to teach student different pedagogies, which NEP is talking about introducing. And also shift in assessment and other stuff. So the other factor is assessment. So if you see, most of the assessments are summative in nature, what we are conducting right now. So NLP also covers about conducting holistic assessment of student, and for conducting that holistic assessment, a teacher needs to be trained that how they can conduct that assessment. A lot of technology integration is there. We are living in 21st century. We are aware that kids learn more from technology and digital medium instead of sitting and like learning from chalk and talk method. So like NFP has put a lot of emphasis on technology integration and building technical infrastructure for schools. Inclusion is again one of the aspects. So if you see the context which I have discussed instead of the video, it talks about the inclusion aspects, that even like the teacher didn't move on and say that, okay, rest of my students are able to cover it up or learn it. I should not just focus on this one student and move on. So there's inclusivity which was there. The teacher ensured that the student is getting to learn in the way he understands. So it's also important to focus on those students who are feeling left out. It is like the cause can be caste, class, background, or mental health, and any other thing. So it's important to focus on this. The other is holistic management and development of students. So the NEP doesn't talk only about developing the student or the knowledge aspect of it. They want to develop the ethics, moral values, technical skills, and every other aspect which is important to like survive and live a holistic and fruitful life. So this is also important. And in the teacher training, it's also being covered that how you can like ensure the holistic development of the student along with resource development. So for to like do effective pedagogy, like interesting assessments, technology integration, there's a lot of resource development and utilization is required, and teacher would be trained for the same, how they can do project based learning, experiential learning, how they can include all these things in their lesson plan. So these are some of the components which NEP talks about. Let's see that how like this will reflect in at different career stages for a teacher. So NPST, National Professional Standard for Teachers, has proposed different career stages. That's mostly 4 stages which a teacher will go through. So once like B.Ed is done and a school teacher is entering in the school, that's the beginner stage or Programi Sekshak, where a teacher have started learning and exploring their learning style and the student learning style and start delivering. So it's a very initial beginner stage where the teacher is exploring themselves and getting a new job and start working. The other is profession. The teacher has spent some time in the school and start learning start doing effectively, start delivering better lesson plans. So and have achieved the goal which they're supposed to achieve, then the teacher would be at this stage, that is proficient stage, Praveen Sikshak. Then the third stage is expert teacher. Now the teacher knows how to do things, what are different pedagogies, how to deliver the curriculum, how to engage student, able to do well, manage well. Then the teacher is expert, Kaushal Sikshak. And from there, there's this lead teacher stage where the teacher knows everything and now ready to teach and deliver it to other people as well. So that is Pramukh Sikshak, those who can lead and reach at the fourth stage of learning as a teacher. So these are four career stages which a teacher will go through from joining till retirement. And this is again proposed by NEP 2020. So let's see that where the training will play the important role in ensuring that the teacher is moving from one stage to another stage. So the purpose of understanding the stages, what would be the things you need to do to like move from one stage to another stage and how that will work. So here, the four career stages is once you're an aspirant preparing for B.Ed, and now the B.Ed structure is also changed. There's a lot of focus on delivering FLN and ECCE. So once you have cleared it, got a job, cleared exam, you're a newly qualified teacher, then you can register and enter at the career stage, like at the first stage, which we have covered. Then the proficient stage is when you have spent some time, but now the school has started doing the competency mapping, or you have yourself as a teacher have started doing the competency mapping, and you have identified that there are some key areas which you need to focus on, and you start working around it. Is the time when you achieve the proficient teacher stage. So you would do a competency mapping as per stage 2 and then achieve those targets. Once you do it, then again at third stage, you do a competency mapping, or the school will do a competency mapping and evaluate your progress, that how you're doing and whether you're ready to move to the fourth stage or not. So at every stage, there would be a bit of evaluation, competency mapping, some training requirements. Competency mapping would be like we'll be able to figure out after identifying the needs, map those skill set which is required for you to achieve it, and then train you accordingly and evaluate the impact. So these are some of the career progression a teacher has to go through, and it's for all the teachers. So here we also have a NPSC resource draft. Like I will be sharing this with you. So we'll be sharing a like NPSC draft with you, that what the teacher career progression would look like, how the training would be and all. So here again, I would like to understand from you that are you familiar with like CPDRs? To achieve these stages, you have to go through some trainings, and then there's this continuous professional development training hours, which is which is proposed by NEP 2020. So are you familiar with it? I'm going to launch a poll here again to understand. I'm going to wait here for 30 seconds. Are you familiar with CPD? Hours. How many hours you have to spend every year? Okay, so I'm going to publish the results here. So around like 50%, more than 50% of the people are not aware what is CPD. So CPD is continuous professional development. It's proposed number of hours proposed by NEP is 50 hours. So every year a teacher has to go through 50-hour training to be ready to teach the class, and that would be based on the assessment, need identification, competency mapping, and then the training. But these CPD can be consist of not only attending something online or offline. You can write a paper, deliver some content, deliver and make some assessment, and that will also be counted as your CPD task. So every teacher, it's mandatory. It's mandatory for every teacher to do 50-hour training every year, and that will be recorded on a portal, on an e-portal. So, and later on, your diet head or your BDO or any head from your school is supposed to evaluate. They have to evaluate whether you have achieved the mandatory target of doing a 50-hour training or not. So that is CPD, and it's for everyone. So if you have not started doing it, this has started from year 2022 only. So maybe a government is not strictly monitoring this at this point, but moving on, they will. So just see that we'll be covering more about it, but just start focusing on achieving the CPD hours, that is 50 training hours for different things. And also it's a thing that you have to do 12 trainings, or 12, you have to cover 12 hours every quarter. So it's 12 for four quarter, and then 2 training you can do anytime. So that's other thing about CPD. I'll just publish result, and then I'll also talk about how you can achieve these continuous professional development hours. So NEP policy is talking about significant pedagogical and restructuring. There's a shift in structure which we all are aware of, that is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 year of schooling, and there's a lot of emphasis on ACC and FLE. So as I've mentioned that these are compulsory continuous professional development hours which school have to achieve, and this is to with the purpose of like learning new pedagogy, developing foundation literacy, numeracy skill, to be able to teach student, doing formative and adaptive assessments. So it's like these are the mandates to ensure that teachers are doing training and development task, and they also take the accountability of it. So this is on you as well, how you're going to take it. There would be some courses which will be conducted by government bodies, but the remaining hour you can conduct by yourself, provide the proof of it on the e-portal, that is CPD e-portal, and then that's how you can ensure that you are at the right career progression track. So we have understood what is CPD and why, or how it's related to the training aspect of it. So where to start? So if you have to do continuous professional development, where to start with? So to start with, you have to do the need identification. So I would like to again understand from you that what do you think? How do you know that on which topic you need training? How do you assess that? Like you cannot just go and do random trainings, right? So we know that NEP is there, and that's how you ended up, and like you want to know something about NEP and better implementation strategies. That's why you're attending this webinar. So I would like you to reflect and share that. By what do you think? How do you identify that there is some training need for your teacher or you as a teacher? Okay, no response so far. So I'll just move on how you can identify what are some of the training needs is there for your teacher. And if you're a teacher, you can maybe seek the observation report from your school leader and say that what is your performance. So the first is classroom observation. So to assess what is lagging, or where a teacher needs better support, or where you as a teacher needs better support, the classroom observation outcome is a better way to see that how you're performing, delivering, how you're interacting with student, what's the assessment methodology you're following in the classroom. So that's one thing, one strategy which you can use. The other is need assessment survey. What is working out, what is not working out, assessing yourself, assessing how you're delivering, what is your motivation, what is your knowledge level. So you can do a need assessment survey. For this, we have done a series, we have done a webinar on data analysis. You can use that method, or you can refer to that webinar and do a need assessment survey for yourself. The other student feedback survey, where you can conduct a feedback, where you can take feedback from your student and just analyze it and see what your students are talking about, what's the student satisfaction ratio, what are some things they like about your teaching methodology or your teacher teaching methodology, or what are few things they don't like. The other is performance data analysis. You can do a performance. So whatever you're delivering, it will reflect in your student performance. So if you are a great teacher, able to like deliver what you plan to, then your class performance will definitely will be good most of the time. And you can do the same assessment for your self performance. So for these three need assessment, survey, student feedback, and performance data analysis, you can refer to the previous webinar which we have conducted. Today, I'll be focusing more on classroom observation. How, as a school leader or a teacher, you can like utilize this classroom observation outcome and function and utilize it in best possible way. So here we'll start with a checklist. So as a school leader, there's this observation tracker which a school leader is maintaining, and as a teacher your data would be inputted here. So here there are some criteria, three things the school leader or any coordinator will be observing about a teacher is teacher student interaction, then the learning methodology and the assessment bit, how effectively the teacher is conducting assessment. Some of the subcategories and these themes are and teacher student interaction, whether the teacher is addressing the student by the name or not, what's the walking thing, whether the teacher is walking in the classroom or not, how friendly the teacher is, maintaining the eye contact, maintaining discipline in the classroom. So these would be measured in some parameters. And for teaching learning methodology, what's the focus of understanding, whether whatever the facts the teacher is presenting is actually correct or not, whether the teacher is giving instruction in simple way or not, using visual aids or not. So these are some of the other parameters which will be assessed during the classroom observation. And for assessment techniques, it would be the teacher is addressing question to individuals if someone is asking, and in like accepting student responses and even encouraging wrong responses. So these parameters are going to be there. And the observation part, how a person who is observing is going to put the input is based on three things. If three score, if the person is doing good. Two score, if person knows but not able to implement or deliver. One is not able to do at all. So I'm going to show you the feedback form. So use like this is something I'm showing you as a sample. You can do it for your school, or as a teacher, you can ask your school leader or coordinator to conduct this for you and provide the feedback for your betterment and development. So here you can see that it starts with teacher name, who's observing you. So you can have a Google form which grades subjects. So this will help you to compile or have all the data in one place, and that will definitely help you in analysis. Because doing it for one teacher individual, it's gonna be a tedious task. So how is the teacher student interaction? So as I've mentioned that if it's happening, addresses by name, if it's going great, then the teacher will be rated 3. If it's the teacher knows how to do it but not doing it effectively, then it would be rated 2. And then doesn't know at all how to do it, then it's 1. So here you can ask these questions. Will also be sharing these resources with you. You can use this tool for your school and see how it's working for you. So here you can see all the responses in one place and also see this in the sheet. So all these responses are recorded in a sheet. So here you can see that we have fed a demo or dummy data for you. So there are 5 responses and teacher have got these ratings. So as a school leader, it would be easy for you to know which teacher is performing how, what is the average score in different buckets, and then you can categorize them in different groups and provide training to them accordingly instead of just randomly giving them training. So this would be the like Google form response which you can use. Now I'll just show you that how you can track it. So here all this data is being recorded. This is a automated template which we have created for you. You can either use this or you can just simply do a like average of the observations you have received from this form. If you don't want to complicate a lot of things, you can just take out the average using average formula, and then see in which thing your teachers are struggling, and then can plan your teacher interventions accordingly. So here I'll just show you. So one is individual averages of every teacher, but then we also have group average, that how a teacher is interacting is 1.8 rating. How the teacher, what is the teacher learning methodology? Then it's 1.8 out of 3. And the assessment teacher is able to do 1.8. So here the rating is at same level. Now you can focus on how you're gonna convert this 1.8 to 3. So how you gonna make it to 2.5 or 2.8 out of 3. So some of the things which we have proposed here is, you can like if a person or teacher is falling in this bucket where the teacher is scoring 0, then you can implement hybrid learning model, or that involves more engagement and a beginning for a teacher to start doing it. If the teacher falls in this category, that is 1 to 2 rating, then workshop on activity based learning to increase the student interaction. And if the rating is between 2 to 3, then focus on relationship building. So this is just a sample which we have put for you, template, more like template for you to use it. Here you can tweak and add training as per your school leader, your teachers need. It's same for teaching a learning methodology. If your teachers are getting a rating, an average rating of somewhere between 0 to less than 1, then you can focus on integrating multimedia tools and different modes of teaching. If the rating is 1 to 2 and teaching learning methodology, then you can focus on implement differentiated instruction. And if 2 to 3, then workshop on lesson planning. So, and it's same for assessment techniques. If the rating is 0 to 0.9, then provide different feedbacks, try to do SWOT analysis, help students. So do a training around these topics. If the rating is 1 to 2, use a mix of different assessment strategy, project-based assessment presentation. You can train and do a workshop around these topics for the school lead, for the teachers. And if it's 2 to 3, then you can focus on a workshop and building formative assessment tool. Just to understand or do a quick assessment of whatever I have covered so far, I'm going to ask you a question here. So if you see, the rating is 1.8 for teacher-student interaction, where a teacher is able to deliver few of the things effectively, but struggling with the other few. What would you rate? Like out of these methodology, which workshop you are going to conduct? First, teacher-student interaction. Please put it in a Q&A box. If the teacher is falling in this bucket of 1.8, which activity you'll be conducting? So here it's workshop activity-based learning. So like this, you can have it for your own school, and for teachers, you can just ask for these observation tool outcome from your coordinator and work accordingly, or request for the trainings accordingly as per your need. Or get your competency mapped and then get an individualized plan developed for you if that's possible. You can also go for a mentorship program. If not, then just like see what you can do at your level. You can use a lot of online resources and training programs. So that can be done too. So after this, I have covered the observation tool demo. I'll be talking a bit about, we'll be sharing all these, the feedback form I have shown to you, the template using which you can observe, measure the performance, and also automate the outcome, or you can just take out the average and form your own strategies. So let's move on and see some of the training strategies. So once the need identification is done, you know that what are some of the areas you need to focus on. Some of the strategies which you can use is definitely leveraging the online platform. So these days, self-learning has got a lot of emphasis, and you can definitely direct your teachers to use it in a more effective way, or and get the certification done, and that will also be covered in the CPDR, continuous professional development hours. One of the platform which is effective is Diksha. It's reliable, it's for free. You can go and get the certificate course done there. There are certain criteria which you have to achieve. So here we'll be sharing you the Diksha guideline, a proper guideline. I'm gonna quickly show it to you. That like we'll be sharing this with you, that how you can like log in, register for a course, enroll for a course. This is a very detailed document which we'll be sharing, how you can log in, and like explore courses, opt for a course, complete the course, and download the certificate. So everything is given here step by step, but I'll just quickly show you the Diksha platform. And maybe can just show you quickly how you can log in. I have already done my login as a teacher. So it will ask you that how do you want to do the login. So here you can just quickly go and go to the Diksha page, click on login. I have already done it. So there's this few data which I have to fill. I have not filled that, but can you see that it's mentioned that I have filled my preference, that is CBSE board NCRT medium, and I've chosen as English. I'm a class 5th student, and there are some trainings which is reflecting here that I can I want to take a training on CBSE training, art integrated learning, something related to mathematics and all. So you can also explore this platform and just go through the user guide when we'll be sharing if you're getting stuck at any point. Let's move and see that what are the other things you can do. You can definitely go and do some online trainings, and it's acceptable as part of CPD. The other is in-house training program. So as a school leader, you have done the need identification, you know the areas of development, you can plan and monitor the training outcome accordingly. So here also we have put some template for you, that what are some things you need to take care of before taking the session or doing the training session, like pre-delivery things, whether the content you want to deliver or the training you want to conduct is ready or not, will be conducting it, whether the registration link is gone or information flyer is circulated in with the teachers or not. What are some of the apps, have you broadcasted it through WhatsApp or not? So keep a track of everything. Like what is the topic is NEP implementation. Again, a demo topic we have put here, tasks, stakeholder comments. So this will help you to plan how you can do a training for your teachers. The other is delivery, the content you have delivered, what you have covered, what was the engagement, how many students, like how many teachers were there continuously, how many of them were focused, how many of them fill the feedback form post delivery, if you're issuing the certificate, whether it's arranged or not. So again, using this template, you can keep a track of your training, that how it's going and how's your planning going and what you'll be doing to implement, what are some of the resources you'll be needing. So once your teachers are doing these trainings, you can also maintain a, because it's important to maintain this 50-hour track. So internally you can maintain it for your school. You can put up a tracker like this. Again, this is a sample template which we have created. You can just record topic, teacher who have attended, what's the mode of attending it, some of the registration detail, what was the date of completion of that particular training, how many hours the teacher spent in like completing that particular course, what is the certificate link. So internally you can maintain your school data. So if someone from outside coming and asking for these mandatory updates from you, you have the entire database with you to support that you are doing it. So let's move on and see. So you can have in-house training programs for you. And the other is partnership with external organizations. So if you think this is something you want to either do online or take help of the third party in doing these trainings for your teachers, then that is also doable. So we have understood that it's important to identify the need, have some training strategy, what you can do, but also it's important to understand that whatever training you have conducted as a school leader, uh, like what's the impact of it? Are these trainings useful or not? And if useful, great. What next? And if not, you can look back, maybe use different tools again and see that how you can make it better. So we won't be covering a lot of things. So for impact evaluation, there's a lot of things which can be covered. But today we'll be focusing on one particular method that has four components in it. It's a Kirkpatrick model to measure the effectiveness of any training program. And your NEP, as I have talked about implementation bit of it, as well as monitoring that how these trainings are going on. So the four levels which will be measured to ensure that the training effectiveness is there is reaction, learning, behavior, and results. So once the training is done, what is the reaction you're getting from the attendees? You can collect it in through feedback form. You can just ask them some question, do an interview, or can ask your audience that how they have felt about the session, which I'm also going to do towards the end of the session, that what you have learned and what's your feedback, whatever I have delivered, is it making like sense to you or not? Was it something useful for you or not? So you can, that is my way of checking my audience reaction, and work accordingly, what how I can make it better in future, or what are some of the things which I'm doing great and can make it better. Learning is the knowledge gain. So what you have learned, you may not have known few things about NEP and CPD, but post this webinar you will develop some understanding about it. So here the reaction is, how was your overall experience with the trainer and the content? And learning is, what you have learned, what was your understanding before this webinar, and what would be your understanding post this webinar. That would be part of my impact evaluation of a training which I'm conducting right now. The other is behavior, that once you have learned it, now you know what is training, its important in its importance in NEP, how you can do the need identification, what are some of the strategies you can use, how you're going back and implementing this post webinar and reflecting on it and saying that, okay, maybe I'm able to like focus on 50 hours of CPD, but not all my teachers are able to cover and deliver it. So that's the third thing which you need to assess while monitoring the training impact. And the other is result, how it's impacting the student learning outcome. What is the student satisfaction ratio? So whatever you're doing is with the purpose of ensuring that your students are learning, growing, there's better student learning outcome and retention. So it's important to assess and get feedback from them. So here, if you see, for these three parameters, three levels, reaction, learning, behavior, the stakeholders, teacher, you're assessing their ratings, what they are talking. But for result, you're talking about the stakeholder which is involved and getting impacted directly, that's student. So let's move and see what are few things. So don't want to complicate a lot of things for you. So in these four levels, what are few questions you can ask as a school leader? So if you have to assess how was the training, what are some questions you can ask under each category? So for reaction, you can just simply ask that what is your overall like a rating for the quality of the training, and what are some of the other things you would like to learn post this. And as I said, that maybe towards the end of the, not maybe, towards the end of the webinar, I'm going to ask these questions from you as well. Stakeholder here is teacher and the person who is attending it. So for me, stakeholder here is you who is attending the training. For learning, you can just ask that some pre-assessment and post-assessment question. I could have asked you that rate yourself, what is your understanding of CPD prior to this session? And post-session, I can again ask you, what is your understanding of CPD after attending the webinar? And compare that, what is the difference in these two feedbacks? That's another thing you can assess, another question you can ask. The other is behavior. That's how much or how confident you're feeling about implementing it. Or if you have implemented it, how you have done it. The other is result, how your students are rating about it. So here also, I'm going to quickly show you a form. So just want to give and leave you with few things which you can take back and utilize in your school. So here, whatever question I have asked to ensure that you are assessing the training impact, you can ask these questions. This is put here in a feedback form, a teacher name, grade, class, and how the teacher is rating the different training session you are conducting. This is something, this response is something you can collect after every training session. uh, a record of the level of confidence before and after training, rate the progress, what you have observed in implementing, what is your student learning experience average. So here maybe you can create a different sheet and collect sample student feedback, or you can just maybe quickly take a 5 sample from each class, merge it, and then put the input here. So again, this is doable with the help of a Google form if you want to do, or if you want to do manually, that's also doable. But this is better to sort of keep a record of your responses and work on your strategies accordingly. So here I'll quickly show you. Again, we have some dummy data for you. So once you have start getting your training, these are some of the teachers. They have given me these feedback that this is they have rated my webinar 3.5 out of 5. The level of confidence they are feeling is only 3. What's the progress? How much implementation is there? Is only 2.5. I'm talking about the average outcome of a training and the student learning average. The student have rated 3, that they have seen that there is betterment in student teaching, learning and methodology. So the average here rating which I have got for different parts of training, or on the different things related to training is 3.5, 3, 2.5. So here I can clearly see that they have learned, they are giving good feedback, they are finding the training important and effective, but they are struggling to implement it. So here my focus as a teacher, this data will give me insight, or as a school leader, to start working on improvement and the implementation, how to add more resources, maybe or pair them with other colleague who is doing great. So here this will give me a clear understanding as a school leader that okay, I have done certain trainings, the training is impactful for few things. There's increase in confidence, like they are liking the delivering method, but they're struggling to implement, and how as a school leader I can help them to implement better. Again, you can go back and refer to the observation tool which we have covered earlier, or maybe you can use other methods and form your intervention strategies accordingly. Once this is done, I'll also show you a case study, like what I'm trying to say based on that data, how you can make conclusion and help student with intervention. So there's a school from Delhi. They have conducted a training program. They have identified a technology integration as a need in the classroom. And after identifying this area through a need survey analysis, the school leader or the school is determined to have a training for the teacher to equip them uh, in with skill set to effectively use technology and enhance teaching and learning. So this is a goal that there's this development area which school has identified using need survey analysis data. Again, if you want to know and learn more about data analytics and how data can be useful for you and your school, you can refer to our webinar which we have conducted. The need is clear that technology integration is one where teachers are struggling. The school wants to focus and develop on it, and conducted a training and ensured that teachers are trained and like integrating technology. Now the training is done. Teacher wants to see what's the outcome of the training. So, like the 4-5 questions which the teacher have asked as reaction, the school leader have tried to understand his reaction. How would you rate and cover the overall quality? How was the overall quality, and what did you like about the most? So, the outcome of these question and reaction can be that the teacher rated training 4.5 out of 5. That means the training is going good, they're liking it. And they have also highlighted that the hands-on session, the materials which is provided there is useful. So as a school leader, I know that what is working out for the school. The other is learning. How was their confidence pre and post? So many of the teacher have rated. Again, you can use the Google form and the sheet I have showed you and analyze that what they're rating. So here in this particular case, the school teachers have rated that they are like their confidence level has increased 30%. So maybe earlier they were saying, okay, I'm 50% confident about delivering this or integrating technology. Now I'm 80% confident about it. So, and the other is behavioral changer aspect, that how much they're able to implement it in the classroom. So they have seen or they have started implementing the technology 50% more. Again, this is the data driven from the responses which is collected by the teacher. So you have to figure out how you're going to do it for your teachers, and we have also developed some templates for you to do that. The other is ask your student to rate. So it's always important to get student input related to teachers. So ask them to rate, but student, like the teacher is saying everything is going great. I'm learning, I'm feeling confident, I'm also delivering. But whatever they're delivering, is it being received by the student in same way? So here the rating shows that it was not. So the student only rated 3. So there's a lot of scope of development again in this, and using this rating again, a plan can be created for teachers and can be delivered and monitored using either this thing or a regular observation tool, using observation tools at a regular interval. So this is just a case study for you to understand that, how it would be at different levels and what can be certain outcomes, or what are some of the analysis decision you can drive out of these data, and that will help you to work and implement your training effectively. So I have asked this, and I'm going to ask, that time I wanted to understand that how many hours, of training CPD is recommended by, or it's mandatory. It's 50 hours. So now I want to understand, are you conducting any training to meet these 50 hours annually as per NEP 2020? For this, I'm going to launch a poll here again. So as a school leader, are you conducting these trainings? Yes, no. Okay. So many of you have said yes, but a lot of people have also said that no, it's not you're not conducting the training to meet the hours. So I hope this session is helpful, because we have talked about identifying the need, some of the strategies to do these training, and methods to evaluate those training impacts, which is crucial and many times we neglect it. So let's ensure that moving on, we are doing it. Because then only a teacher will be able to move from one stage to another stage, because these will give a clear picture of competencies which needs to be covered, and that's how a teacher will be able to learn those competencies. So as I've mentioned, that either you can do an in-house program or digital, or learning through digital methods, but we also have a teacher certification program by Varthana. So if you are someone who's interested in achieving these CPDRs, and that's not necessary that you have to do it through your school only. You can opt for your personal programs, different certification programs. So as a school, if you want your teachers to be part of Varthana certification program, you can reach out to us. So we are doing the certification program for teachers to increase the effectiveness and give them better learning opportunity and enhance their skill set. The certification program is for teachers. We'll be doing 3 courses, and there would be 4 sessions. So there would be a 12 certification program, and the duration would be 2 hours for 4 weeks. So that's how we'll be covering. It's going to be online mode. And the focus area which we'll be focusing for 3 courses is NEP 2020, then classroom leadership and management, learning and pedagogy. So this is what we'll be focusing on. And as I've mentioned that you have to do 12 training per quarter. So this is something you can definitely consider about. And if you're interested, we're going to ask your interest in the feedback form. Please opt for it. We'll reach out to you and then you can start joining these teacher certification program. These programs are for free of cost. So I want to like again know any of you are attending these teacher certification program. You can put it in Q&A section because we have already started conducting these sessions. Are you any of you attending these teacher certification program? Because I saw there are a lot of participants who are teachers. So if not, you can fill your response and share your interest in attending these certification program. Will enroll you for the same. We have covered few things, but before I do the summary and like share that what we have covered, I would again like to hear it from you. So one person has said that she's attending. It's Desha, and other is interested. Please fill your interest in the feedback form. Will enroll you. So I would like to hear three things what we have covered in today's session. You can put it in Q&A section. What are three things which we have covered? We are towards the end of the session. So I'll start from where we have started. See, we talked about NEP components. What are some of the components of NEP and some stages which is crucial in teacher development, and NPST is there who is ensuring that these levels are achieved when when an aspirant is joining the teaching profession. So it's important to train and ensure that the teacher is delivering good quality education. The other thing which we focused on was identifying the training needs. So how you can do it, how you can identify what is CPD, and some of the strategies, how you can after identifying how you can implement the training needs, and also monitoring. So for monitoring, we have talked about a model which will be covering four things, that is reaction, learning, behavior, and result. And there are different stakeholders. A feedback will be part of it. And you can do it for your school using this model. Also, we talked about observation tool and how using observation tool you can understand and identify the need, and also make a roadmap to do the intervention and training effectively, and monitor the training outcome. Also, either you can have an in-house training or online training along with tying up with Vardhana for this teacher certification program if you are interested. So we have covered a lot of tools and resources, guidelines, how you can join the Disha platform and do the certification course, the observation tool and templates, the form to do the training assessment impact evaluation. We'll be sharing all these resources along with the stick and the handout with you post this webinar. Just ensure you are filling the feedback form. So along with all this, we also have two academic solutions. That is, one is Lead School. It's an integrated, innovative, tech-based learning solution which focuses on holistic development of the teacher. So if you're interested in connecting with Lead School, you can let us know and we'll do that for you. The other is CAN. There's a lot of emphasis on digital and technology integration and digital infrastructure building. So CAN is a portable device. It's a multimedia computer with a data projector and a lot of inbuilt content. So if you are interested in integrating technology in your school and don't want to spend any of limited resources to build the digital infrastructure, you can definitely consider CAN. And if you're interested in this as well, you can let us know through the feedback form. And if you have any question, please you can put it in Q&A section or raise your hand and ask. Or I'll just share the feedback form and you can fill it. Just ensure you're not dropping out before filling the feedback form. Okay, what are smart ways to punishing student for their mistakes? I'll say avoid punishing and rather focus on some of the consequences which a student may have to go through, but to ensure that there's positive enforcement and not the negative one. And I think punishing is a way of doing the negative reinforcement. So maybe just see what motivates the student. So in the video, I'll also share the link of the video, or maybe I'll just put here in Q&A section and you can take it from there. This positive reinforcement and teaching a student. So you can consider doing that, but avoid punishing a student. Uh, we have to fill this evaluation form. No, you don't have to fill this evaluation form. We'll be sharing this form with you. You can use it for your school or your student, or if you are taking a training, you can do your self evaluation and see as a teacher what are some of the areas you need to focus and learn on. Okay, anyone wants to like, do you have any question? Diksha's training, yes. So here we have a handbook of Diksha training, a proper handbook, how you can log in, enroll, and get the certificate, everything. So we'll be sharing this with you over a mail after this webinar. So you'll receive it. Thank you. Have a good day.